Donald Trump's campaign believes the map has expanded into deep blue states. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today we have to talk about the 2024 presidential election because Donald Trump has expanded the map, and I know every campaign says this. Every cycle we hear the campaigns say, we're gonna win a deep blue state, or we're gonna win a deep red state. We hear this every year. And at 95% of the time, it never happens. It just campaign speak. It's meant for fundraising. It's not meant to be taken seriously. But in 2024, that might be changing, as the Trump campaign really believes they can expand the map, and not just into states like Virginia and Minnesota. That's, kind of crazy enough. But they really believe states like New Jersey and New Mexico, they're toss-ups. So let us get into it. Former President Trump's chief pollster is feeling bullish on the battleground map. Tony Fabrizio, who has worked for Trump through several election cycles, listed out Minnesota, Virginia, New Jersey, and New Mexico as toss-ups, and brushed off claims by Democrats in North Carolina and Arizona were in play for President Biden. Now, I understand that this is a Republican pollster. This is someone that works for Trump. He's going to be biased. I understand that. But Tony Fabrizio is a good pollster. And unlike most pollsters, Fabrizio tells them the truth. It's not like, McLaughlin in 2020 for Trump, where he told Trump, you need 65 million votes to win. You're going to win in a landslide. Remember that crap? Yeah. McLaughlin, I really believe, lied to Trump. He was telling Trump what he wanted to hear, not what actually was happening. Well, Fabrizio's different. He's honest. He tells people the truth. And he really believes, yeah, states like Minnesota, Virginia, New Jersey, New Mexico, they're toss-ups. And we've been seeing this in private polling. We're seeing this, virtually every pollster in these states. They're showing a much more competitive race, especially compared to 2020. These are states that we're looking at. He said at the Republican Party of Florida breakfast Tuesday, and believe it or not, there's another state up north called Maine, he added. So they really believe that Minnesota, Virginia, New Jersey, New Mexico, even Maine could be up for grabs for Trump. One of the biggest factors on how competitive each state will be is who is allowed on the ballot, he explained, referring to independent RFK Jr. and other third-party candidates, and that's the biggest thing. If Jill Stein, Cornel West, even RFK in some states, if they're on the ballot, that's undoubtedly going to hurt Biden in these states. Because guess what? Especially Stein and West, they're going to take votes away from Biden. Hell, you could even argue the Libertarian nominee, I think his name's Chase Oliver or whatever, he's a left-leaning Libertarian. He's going to take votes away from Biden. So, when you factor in all of this, and the fact Trump is just doing way better everywhere, it's not crazy to say states like Minnesota, Virginia, hell, even New Mexico, they could be much closer than they were back in 2020. Just look at New Mexico, for example. It voted for Biden by around 11 points. Well, let's just say Trump is doing 5 to 6 points better everywhere, okay? So, if it's just Biden versus Trump, on paper, New Mexico would be like D+6. But when you factor in people like Cornel West, Jill Stein, even Chase Oliver, this idea of New Mexico, New Jersey even flipping, it's still very unlikely. But you start to understand that, wait, there is math to show that it's possible. It's not likely, but if Trump is really doing 5 to 6 points better, hell, there's some polls that have him doing like 10 to 15 points better everywhere. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but let's say that happens. Well, you're talking about states like New Mexico, New Jersey being in play. That doesn't mean it's going to flip. I should be clear about this. This is Trump's team saying, we believe we have a chance here. This is not them saying, we're going to win New Mexico. That's very unlikely. You notice how they say these are toss-ups. So they're just saying, hey, we believe there's a pathway in New Mexico, New Jersey, etc. Yes, Republicans have said they were expanding the map before. Only for many of those traditionally blue states remain in Democrats' column. But this cycle, Fabrizio said it will be different. And I'm starting to think so. Because unlike Mitt Romney in 2012, unlike McCain in 2008, or even Bush in 2004, the reality is This is just a different cycle. I mean, compare 2024 to 2020. Remember the Biden plus 15 poll in Wisconsin? Remember how Trump was going to lose Florida? He's down in Ohio. He may lose Iowa. Remember that? Hell, Texas is in play. Remember that crap? Yeah. The same polls are now saying, oh yeah, by the way, Trump as of now has a lead in virtually every single swing state. So tell me, how is this a very traditional cycle? It's not. That's why I believe that while it's unlikely, this would be the cycle for Trump to win a state like New Jersey. It would be. Because this is not an ordinary, down the wire race that no one knows who's going to win. Most people would agree that as of now, Trump is a favorite. He's a clear favorite. He's winning in not just the statewide polling, but even the national polling. He's up by like 2 to 3 points. When was the last time that happened? Bush 2004. So you combine all of that, and you start to realize, okay, there's a chance here. You cannot compare 2020 or even 2016 to 2024 because these are completely separate ordeals. In 2016 and 2020, Trump was never leading, not even at the national level, let alone the swing states. But now he's actually winning everywhere, and now he is having very good polls out of New Jersey, out of New Mexico. And these are not Republican pollsters, by the way. Remember, just a week ago, there was a poll that quote-unquote leaked from the Democrat Party that showed Trump winning Virginia. He was up in Wisconsin by a lot. Hell, he was competitive in states like Colorado, for crying out loud. That doesn't mean that's going to happen, but it's clear that both sides, their internals are showing virtually the same thing. They're not showing Biden with a magical lead. Both sides realize right now Trump is the clear favorite. He credited Trump's strength to voter enthusiasm about his candidacy, and said he wrote down 3 words he used to describe Biden to contrast him with Trump: weak, failed, dishonest. Yeah. All you have to do is look at the 4 years of Trump versus the 4 years of Biden. That's all you got to look at. You don't have to look at anything else. Just compare the 4 years of Trump with the 4 years of Biden. It is clear Trump was a better president. Everything was way better with him. Hell, even Democrats are starting to admit that. Now, will they vote for Trump? No. But it's clear that the vast majority of voters, even in Democrat states, they're realizing, okay, we might have made a mistake here, picking Biden. Now, let's just say, okay, let's assume that somehow Fabrizio's spot on, and not only that, but they actually win states like New Mexico. Let's just say, okay, Georgia goes Republican, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. These are the main swing states. But Trump's campaign believes, hey, wait a minute, maybe New Mexico, maybe Minnesota, maybe Virginia, maybe New Jersey. And at that point, I think a state, Nebraska second would probably flip, and Maine at large. Look at that. If the Trump campaign is right, and not only do they think these are toss-ups, but somehow win these states, you're talking about Trump having 357 electoral votes. That is nearly identical to what Obama got back in 2008. I'm not saying this is going to happen. This is not an official prediction. But we're at a point now where it seems like both campaigns are starting to think, oh wait, states like Virginia, Minnesota, they may actually be in play. Why do you think the Biden campaign, they're spending money in Minnesota, for crying out loud? We just gotta see what happens. I'm not saying for sure that Trump is gonna win all these states. I'm trying to show people what would happen if he somehow did. If he won all the swing states that the Trump campaign believes are swing states, well, you're talking about a landslide. And there are probably more states that would flip in this scenario. You're probably talking about New Hampshire maybe flipping. New York would probably be way closer. Illinois, same deal. That's the problem for the Biden campaign, because if Trump is competitive in states like Virginia, New Jersey, well, he's going to win states like Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Georgia by a lot. That's the main problem here for the Biden campaign. Because if they have to worry about Virginia, New Jersey, How the hell do you think they're going to compete in states like Pennsylvania? They still will, obviously, but if it's getting that bad, it's just going to look like McCain in 2008, where McCain lost states like Indiana, North Carolina. He did awful in the Dakotas. He nearly lost Montana, for crying out loud. This is what it's starting to look like. It's starting to look like the opposite of 2008. Instead of Democrats winning everything, it would be Republicans here. And I just find it so ironic that of all the Republican candidates to pull this off, it's probably going to be Trump. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we got to have a serious discussion about this, because we're getting to a point now where we're in July. And the Trump campaign really believes there's a chance here. There's a chance in New Mexico. There's a chance in Minnesota. And at that point, you're winning states like Maine, more than likely. But no one should get overconfident. No one should believe that Trump is going to sweep everything. Because if you think that, it's not going to happen. But there is a pathway here. That's the biggest takeaway from all of this. There's a pathway. Now, what do I think the Trump campaign should do? Do a couple rallies in Minnesota. Do a couple rallies in Virginia. Like, especially in Minnesota, just do a rally right on the border with Wisconsin, for example. If you do a rally in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, do it right on the border. Hell, Virginia, do it in southeastern Virginia, by Virginia Beach, right on the border with North Carolina. Because even if you don't win these states, well, you do these campaign events close to the actual swing states, or the quote-unquote swing states. I think Trump wins North Carolina, but either way, you get the point. But as for if you should spend money in these states, if he's doing so good in Wisconsin come like October, go ahead. Don't do it now. But if you're up by like 10 points in Wisconsin, 10 in Pennsylvania, 8 in Michigan, go ahead, invest in the states like Minnesota, New Jersey, Virginia, because at that point, you just want to win by as much as you can. At that point, that just, just for fun. Go ahead, do that. But don't do it right now. Don't just say, oh yeah, we're going to stop spending in states like Wisconsin and spend everything on Minnesota. That's not going to work. I guarantee you if the Trump campaign did that, it would backfire horrendously. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.